Yo, what's going on? Welcome to another episode of B Swift's Guys Guide. I'm your host, B Swift, and this is all happening in partnership with my friends at Eskenazi Health. Now, today, we're here to talk about an amazing event. I tell you all the time with Guys Guide, it's all about being able to put you or give you things that can help you, right? Well, no matter what it is. So today's topic, we're going to talk about an event that's going on August the 29th at the AMP, and it's called Back to School Men's Event, Getting Mentality Prepared to Help Our Children. I have two special guests who I'm going to bring on right now, and I'm going to let them introduce themselves and what they do. All right, so go ahead, fly our guest in as you see them both lined up. We can start with you, Brother Thomas. You go ahead and let people know who you are and what you do.
Well, first of all, first and foremost, I want to thank you, my brother, for providing an opportunity for myself and Brother Kelin to be on today to discuss the event. And I'm just Brother Thomas X, as many people know me by, a husband, a father, a brother, right? And one of the titles I'm most proud of is being a follower of the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. And through striving to follow that man, I've taken on the responsibility to strive to be an agent of change. And this event that we're speaking about today falls right in line with striving to be an agent of change, not just for young people this time, but for the men who must get involved in the education and the academics of our young brothers and sisters. So that's who I am.
All right, Mr. Kelin.
I'm Kelin Mark. I am just finished up my first day of school. I'm a principal here in Indianapolis, Indiana, and this is year number, I think, 23, being in education. And I appreciate you having us on. I say, and you always hear, it takes a village to raise a child. I will be dropping my son off to college next week. But Brother Thomas is one of the men, one of the many men that has poured into his life and helped me help him, become who he is as a young man. And so our goal is to begin to share that, with other men, because we need to see more men involved in their kids' lives in school more than anything. So I'm very honored and happy to be here with you guys.
No, and I appreciate you both for being a part of this, because for me, it's important, right? Like I get on the radio and I joke a lot, and I understand the music I play, but I understand my big part in the community as well. And just a few weeks ago, while on the radio, I was talking about kids going back to school, because my daughter started back like the 25th to 27th of July. And I think one thing I talked about was being there, men, women, being there and showing up, right? Because we've had a lot of things going on in our community over the last few months, last few years, however you want to put it in, where it seems like we're not around. You know what I mean? At the times it matters. And then when something happens, then we all come out the woodworks and it's like, yo, hold on, da-da-da. But that school life is so important, and to see this event and to see it around men, right? Because again, boys, you gotta take your sons to school. Dads, you gotta take your girls to school. But understanding the mentality of being prepared for school, because yes, you're going for education, but you're also preparing yourself to walk in these hallways with a lot of temptations, right? Mm-hmm. Talk to me about what this event is going to encompass for the men that are coming.
Well, I'll start. The inspiration behind it, B Swift, started some years ago. My son was in elementary school. I was at work, came home one day, and he's sitting in the living room with an ice bag on his nose, got his nose busted at school at recess playing the game. And the first thing I thought about was, no one called me, and no one called Dad to say, hey, your son, can you come check on him? Your son's nose got busted. And being in education, and you probably know this, you don't get to talk to a lot of fathers. And so I always said when I got in position, I wanted to find ways to talk to dads and talk to uncles and grandfathers and big brothers, because I know moms do their job and moms take on a lot, but there are men in households that need to be heard and seen. And so that's the inspiration behind it. Contacted my brother Thomas, and we put together not just this event, but the one we did at Indiana Black Expo, talking to principals and administrators about how you have to make getting more men involved. And so we put our heads together, and our goal is to share with men and equip and empower men at this program on August 29th.
Before I let you in, Thomas, like I want to ask you this before we really get into this, right? Like there's some men out there, like shout out to my Uncle Keith. He played a very important part to my life when my dad was traveling around the world playing music. And there's some men like, oh, the mom got that. When something happened, they'll call me and then that's when I'll come through. Like, is that too late? You know what I mean? Like I done already got into the fist fight, or I done already got suspended because I done did a food fight in the cafeteria, right? Like,
yes,
is that too late? And is that why we are doing this event? Because we want people to understand the first day of school, or the 2 weeks before, as we've seen on the internet, we prepare our households 2 weeks before by sending the kids to sleep early to get them back on this sleeping regimen. Is that important for them to be there, and why it's important?
It's extremely important, Brother Swift, because we don't want to always be in reactionary mode. Right, we want to be proactive. Yep. So oftentimes when it comes to dad coming up to the school or dad getting a call, usually it's after something has happened. However, the more involved we are, it provides our children with tools and an adequate mentality that puts us in being proactive mode rather than a reactive mode. And also, there's a reason that we had the first three letters of mentally capitalized, right? Because men are the backbone of the community. So yes, matter of fact, Brother Swift, you just raised a great point that someone raised when we were in our conference at the expo, when we was in our session. So there was a gentleman, he was from another ethnic group, and he stated that in this society, American society, usually mom deals with the education while dad works. So I raised the question to him. First, I asked him, my brother, what ethnicity are you? And I was just curious. However, I'm gonna ask you, B. Swift, when we go to the doctor in the medical field, usually, what do you see? Ethnic wise, what do you usually see?
African American.
No, as the doctors.
Normally white, Caucasian.
Or our Indian brothers and sisters.
Right? Yep, absolutely.
Foreigners, right? Whenever we think engineering, what do we think? What ethnic group?
Again,
Asian, right?
Yep.
So what I was stating to him, that there is no way possible that as those ethnic groups, as their children are striving to become professionals in those fields, that the father isn't involved. It takes both man and woman, mother and father, to be involved in pushing the mind through the fatigue that comes along with striving to become a doctor. Pushing the mind through the fatigue that's guaranteed to come as you're striving to become an engineer. I say whenever we set up a society where mom strictly handles the academics and dad strictly handles going to work, we're setting ourselves up for failure. So when you look in our community and where we rank educationally, it bears witness that we've set ourselves up for failure. So this event is really just a call, and it serves as an inspiration and whatever we can provide to empower men to know, let's get involved. And our way of being involved doesn't have to look like mom's way of being involved. We have two different natures. Me being involved may just be being present. Do you know, Brother Swift, there was a New York Times article written, and in the article, it was just stating whenever a man or male figure is present, it increases the percentage of a child's confidence. It increases their ability to advocate for themselves. It increases their ability to become more social. So those are a lot of positives just come from being there. I don't even got to know math or science for that.
And I think, and we know that's true. Like, for those who don't know, Brother Thomas is my daughter's uncle. So, yes, you know what I mean? We're around each other a lot. And I mean, when you look at my child, for instance, I know I'm work all day, all night, right? But I'm at every parent teacher conference. I'm on every Zoom that needs to be held. Now, mom be like, hey, it's back to school night. We're going to meet. Y'all got that one. Y'all got it. Like, but when it's time to be hands on with the teacher, I'm there, and I think it's helped because I've seen my daughter as a first grader read at the fifth grade level. Yeah. And again, I'm not pushing her to read no books, but hey, you reading? Let's go to the bookstore and buy a book. I'll give you $20. And like you say, I think the push and the confidence helps her go to the next level. You know what I mean? In the next level. And it's like,
I want to add something. I'm gonna let Brother Kelin come in on this. So one of the things that we are going to also be addressing is let's eliminate I don't have time.
Oh, you got to eliminate that. That's
we have the ability to meet virtually. We have the ability to correspond through email. We can text. There's so many avenues. There's so many avenues.
Whatever it is,
involved.
It's there.
Yes. Come on. What you want to add, bro, Kelin?
Yeah, we have time. We make every game. We make every volleyball, basketball, football game. And so we make it a priority for the things that are important. So we have the time. It's just going to take a little bit of sacrifice and a little change in the way we think when it comes to our kids' education and making that time to be present, time to, I tell parents all the time, hey, brother, sit down and send an email to the principal and talk about your kid and what you expect from your son or daughter, so they would have an idea, hey, here's a dad or a granddad that's involved and someone that is expecting, from his kid to get something out of this particular school year. And so it doesn't take, spending 4 and 5 hours at the school. It could take 1 hour at drop off. It could take, hey, I'm going to go on my lunch break and I at least want to meet the principal, meet a few teachers. There is no way you drop your kid off for 182 school days every single day, and you don't make the effort to meet the people that's in charge of your kid. And I just think that's we have to change the way we do things as men, and it just takes a little bit of sacrifice. And that's some of the things we're going to share when it comes to our program August 29th. And then we have the blueprint. We do this when it comes to, I have a son that's going to play college basketball. And I put in the time. I've sacrificed. I've got extra help. I've got a support system. And so men do it when it comes to athletics. We just need to do it also when it comes to academics and helping them within the school system.
And I love it. Go ahead.
I was going to say, B Swift, just think of how we haven't even mentioned, brother Kelin or myself haven't mentioned anything about behavior.
Zero.
We haven't even mentioned anything about behavior, and our presence assists with that as well. But yeah, we just thinking of the whole child, right? So us just asking the question, how did school go today? Us asking the question, hey, did you get your homework done? What homework do you have? Man, what do you have coming up this week? Just those questions alone in a child's mind lets them know dad cares. Absolutely. Uncle cares, big brother cares. And that alone begins the process of changing the trajectory for success, or that's leading to success as it relates to our young males and females.
No, and all of that's important. Again, as a dad, I might call every day. You got homework? What you learned today? And she might hit me with we did the same thing. Well, what's the same thing?
Yeah.
I need to know. Use your words, because, we did it. That's not the same thing as yesterday, kids. So, but right on for telling me. Like, I'm big on pulling the info, because if I was a kid, and I know when I walked in for 4 years straight, me and my dad still laughed. I never came home with a book bag. I don't know how I graduated, but I never came home with a book bag. Like, where your homework? Oh, I ain't got none. You know what I mean? But he was smart enough to be, all right, I got you. Call this teacher tomorrow. What's up with these 10 missing assignments? You know what I mean? Like, you tell me you ain't got no backpack, no homework. Now, I want to walk through this event real quick, right? August 29th, the AMP. I love the AMP. It's an amazing space. You guys are there. Kicks off at 6:30 p.m. We walk in to a meet and greet fellow men's. What is this? Because I want people to understand, because it's more than just sitting in a room and listening to us talk or listening to y'all talk. There's actually pieces that's a part of this that's not just going to help them, but help their child even become sociable as they're around. So walk me through the first half hour?
Yeah, the meet and greet is for men to see other men that want to be involved and empowered in their, kids' education. So there will be men who, are coming. I'm an educator. I have some principal friends coming who have kids. There'll be men who, have all different types of backgrounds. Some are grandfathers, uncles. And so it's just being together and all of us coming together with that same mindset of we have to do something when it comes to, and we say our kids, it is our own child, but we know when we're present in a situation, there are other young men and other maybe students and young ladies who tag on to us will become, that extended father. And so that's the first half hour is just for us to get together and just really fellowship, talk, and begin to break down some of those barriers when it comes to just being involved in our kids' education. Then after that, when we get into the discussion, part of it is we're going to discuss what you need to know and who you need to know when it comes to your students' education. And so
why is that important? That right there. That's what I wanted to talk about too. Why is that important?
It's important because there are so many moving parts to a school. And who you need to know, you absolutely need to know the people that are in charge of your son or daughter or grandson. So if you have a kid who is interested in becoming an engineer, who in that school can help him or her become that? So yes, we're going to talk about meeting administrators. We're going to talk about what that conversation should look like. If you have a student athlete, you need to meet the athletic director, the coaches. You need to meet the counselors, the guidance counselors. And so that who you need to know will be a big part of the discussion. And then the what you need to know as a man, what does my role look like within, that school? And Brother Thomas will go down that path for us.
Yes, sir. And also, like in society, when we speak about getting ahead, we say it's not only what you know, but what?
Who you know.
Who you know. So when it comes to our children getting ahead in school and us being more acclimated in the process of their education, it's not just what we need to know, but it's who we need to know. And so some of the things that schools need to know, when we was talking to the schools, we were telling the schools need to know the expectations that the father have for their child. Right? The schools need to know that the father doesn't necessarily want to be confrontational. The father just want to be made aware. Right? Let me in on everything that's going on with my child. Not only if my child needs to be disciplined, but let me know the progress that my child is making. Let me know the areas in which my child may need assistance, right? The same way as brother Kelin just mentioned, the same way in athletics. If a coach thinks that a child needs to shoot more shots, right, throw more passes, that coach will let the father know that your child needs assistance in this area. Can you please help the child so that they can become more proficient? We want to know the same thing in academics. Man, let me know if my child needs more assistance in reading. And going back to the meet and greet, as brothers, we may be conversing and I find out, man, Swift, I didn't know you were so good in math. So now you may know math better than me. So when my son or daughter have a question, guess who I'm texting?
I'm hitting up my brother. We all got kids and we know what the dance life is like, right? Our kids dance and we know what their mom circle looks like and how in tune them young ladies are. And you got a son that play ball, your son play ball. So y'all understand the dads groups as hey, you need to work on defense. Yep. Yo, go over here with such and such because that's what they really specialize in and they can help. And I don't think we realize that as men sometimes, like, oh, brother, it's such and such is really good with this. Like, let me just send a text and he might be able to help you. And it's very important to create these sociable moments and bonds that we need for the young men, right?
And we're doing our part to strive to bridge the gap between where our children are now and where we desire for them to be. And if we know where they are looking to be professionally,
yeah,
right? Closing the gap between where they are and what they desire to be. So the meet and greet is an opportunity for men to just have a discussion, find out what our interests are, find out what we excel in, and be able to create mentors for our children and become a mentor for my brother's child, right? So because the paradigm has to shift as it relates to us as men being involved. Right? As I stated earlier, our involvement may not look like the mother's involvement, right? Because like you say, we have children that dance. We not in those.
Nah, I know all the time. Like, you need to not come to that. Like,
Yeah, nah.
Just tell me where I'm supposed to be at when I need to be.
Right. Yeah, our support looks different, a little different, but yet our support is there. So likewise with education, man, our support may look a little different, but we just want our children to know that we are there.
And I'll say this, B Swift, when I understand dad's expectations for their child. So, hey, Mr. Mark, I want my kid, he's getting into engineering, or he wants to be a scientist or something like that. Now I know how to support that particular student and sharing that information with other educators within my building, because I know what that parent expects. I'm not going to let your daughters fail if I know, hey, mom and dad, they expect this of this particular kid. And I want men to have those conversations within their kids' school and know how to have those conversations.
Nah, and I think that's important because, again, not only those conversations, but being able to walk those halls and feel comfortable, right? When I come there, the teacher knows me, the principal knows me, the librarian might even know me because we spend time in there, and I'm making the kid check out books because I'm pushing you to read more or to learn about whatever your craft or your hobby or your career goals could be. And it only happens when we show up. And I know you as a principal. I know you from Chapel Hill, as I used to come over there and do something. I did something with y'all back in the day, and I'm sure you see it in a huge magnitude of like, dang, if I could see a few more dads over here, then this might change this behavior problem. Or Brother Thomas, when I know you was over at, it wasn't School 42, it was another school, but Global Prep, you probably like, yo, you really got all the potential, but you missing one thing, unfortunately. And I'm gonna be that, but I can't be that. If you had one more push from somewhere else, it would help my small push elevate you and make you say, you know what, I don't want to be like this. I do want to follow the path and do the right thing. And I'm sure in schools, they're seeing it and needing it, of course. Like, I don't know how much we see on the news of something doesn't happen to a young man or a young woman, and the first thing we get on Facebook and see is, well, if they had a male figure, then this wouldn't. Well, that's what we're trying to change the narrative and push out, I guess, right? Yeah,
and every father doesn't know everything. Right. So in the subject of the event column, to explain the event, is for fathers and men, right? Because we know that as a father, we don't have all of the answers. We just don't. But however, as Mr. Mark was speaking about our relationship, where he may see strengths in me that may not necessarily be his strengths, vice versa. I see strengths in him that may not necessarily be my strength. So if I have a question or my son has a question and I'm not strong in that area, I can call my brother. And if his son has a question and he's not strong in that area, he can call his brother. That's the purpose of brotherhood.
And I think something else too, sometimes the kids, we know how kids are. I was one of these kids. My dad could tell me something and it's in one ear and out the other. But he used to tell me, like, I used to call your uncle and make your uncle call you and tell you the exact same thing.
Exact same thing.
Because I know you're going to go listen to that man more than you're going to listen to me. And I'm like, well, it wasn't on purpose, but that might have been my dog. And he broke it down in a different, unforceful way than you did. So, yes, I did listen to him. But I never thought about that. And I think that's very important because there are uncles, there's brothers, there's homeboys in the neighborhood who are just impactful on our lives, on our kids' lives as us. And sometimes if we have to build that relationship with them and hey, bro, I need you. Like, I can say it. But the little kid might listen to you if you say it. I know it's like that with my kid. I'll call your daughter, be like, hey, can you tell Jeremy this? She's tripping.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think that's important, right? Like for us to be together as a brotherhood, to be able to tap on each other, it's huge. And it just helps our kids go to the next level. If people want to be involved in this, the men want to come and show up to this, the men want to support this, how do they make that happen?
You want to go, Mr. Mark?
Yes, sir. So it's August 29th at the AMP. It starts at 6:30 p.m. You can just show up and come to the AMP. We will be there welcoming you, be ready to welcome you, greet you. We do have on our social media, mine is Assist the Principal on Instagram, and I have a link on there where you can RSVP. But if you just want to show up at the AMP on August 29th at 6:30 p.m., it's going to be informative. It's going to be powerful. And we're just looking for men and fathers and grandfathers, big brothers, just to be part of it. And then hopefully our ultimate goal beyond that is to carry our message into the schools. Be Swift, I operate in data, and I know of schools that have decreased discipline referrals by 25, 30% because they created opportunities for more men to get involved. I know of schools that have increased graduation rates and academic performance because they made a decision to get more men involved in the school. And so our hope is after August 29th, we want to get into schools, have conversations with men, hold sessions and workshops, show them some strategies, anything from raising a student athlete to helping your kid understand certain subject areas, and then helping men and dads just maneuver in the school system, because it can be different, whether it's public or private, charter school, but there are things that they can do just to show a presence and be a benefit to their kid within the school. So that's our long-term goal. Beyond this is we're going to reach out to schools and see if we can come in and share with the men attached to that particular school and school district.
Can you tell me the name of that program that you guys got? Because I know it's another program that you guys are pushing as well.
Yeah, that's our DADS program. DADS stands for Dedication, Academics, Athletics, Discipline, and Sacrifice. And we hit each area individually and speaking with schools and men and talking about what does it take, what type of dedication does it take to just, like, my son finished his senior year and it felt like I finished it, because it's a lot to get kids through school, whether you have a son or a daughter. It takes a lot of dedication. And then you have a student athlete. Academics and athletics go hand in hand. And there are things that, men need to know in raising a student athlete. And then that discipline is not a dirty word. And it's not meaning, whipping and spanking and getting on your kids, but discipline is creating an environment and boundaries that your kid can take from middle school, high school, on to college, that they can use that and create that self-discipline for themselves. And then talk about the sacrifice it takes as men and fathers, where sometimes, hey, I do have to get up extra early, not only drop my kid off, but let me just go in and say hello, to the custodians, to the secretaries, see how they're doing, and just show, those people that are attached to the school that, this person has a father and a grandfather that care.
Yes, sir. Man, you just raised that point. You just raised that point, Brother Kelin, that discipline is not punishment. I was actually taught that discipline is love. Right? Whenever we see someone who's disciplined, you can visually see that that's a person who care for themselves or love themselves, right? But also, Swift, to add on to what Brother Kelin was saying, is we want to treat it like not just the education event that we're putting on, but we want to just show brothers, man, come to this and also have a good time. Because also there's Labor Day weekend, so brothers don't have to be to work on Monday. Right? Then every final Friday of the month, Brother Uri Smith, he has an event at the AMP. And it's more of a social, I don't want to call it a a party, but it's more of a social event.
Yep.
Really, I've been the one, and it's really nice, clean. You can, vibe. You can really just have a good time. And so his event literally starts around the time ours is ending. So after we come and share some good brotherhood, have good dialogue, go over these principles, provide these tools to help us become more involved with our children's education, you could transition right outside of the room and enjoy some good music, enjoy some nice views, and do what you do. But watch my shoes. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know that.
Nah, and I think it's important, again, as a dad, as an uncle, who I stay on the kids about what their grades look like. You know what I mean? And I'm always on them and trying to reward when it's good grades, whether it's a high five or money. I try to keep my money in my pocket because I'm huge on that because I think it makes sense. Again, there's no next generation without the education. The way the sports is excelling and NIL is coming in play, and we seeing these guys go from making nothing for playing the sports and making more money than their parents have ever made in 1 year, depending on what school they going to, what position they playing on, what team. They can go make $500,000 in a year, don't have no sense and don't know what to do, right?
That's right.
The parents don't know what to do. And then 4 years from now, everybody's sitting there hands broke because they didn't know, they didn't have a friend like a Brother Thomas or a Mr. Kelin where they can call and say, I don't know money. I've been bad, or I don't know this science and this academics, and my child is on the way to be a vet, and I don't know what to tell them or what to do. Can you help me, please? Because we've sat in a bubble for so long and didn't get out, didn't network, didn't meet, didn't go talk, didn't go find out who the guidance counselors or the principals were, not understanding they went to Purdue or they went to IU or they went to Morgan College or they went to JSU, and they might have an excessive network of friends because they're Noop or they are Alpha or you know what I mean, Delta or whatever, that can help them navigate through the world and put them in rooms that can help change their lives. And it goes back to being there on time at 6:30 on August the 29th, coming into this brotherhood meeting and getting to know who's in the room, who they are, what they do, and that seeing that they got the same mentality of wanting to help change and be there for their child, and how you got that same mentality, being able to come together and let's build this father's group of
village. Just a village.
Right? Let's build this village of what we used to know when our grandparents didn't have sugar. Go 3 houses down and ask Miss Katie. She got something. You know what I mean? Tell her I'll give her some coffee or some cigarettes later on when I got her. Thank you. We got to build that amongst ourselves inside the education world with us.
Hey, Swift, and just think of this. As you was talking, you used the word that sparked something in my head. You said we've been in this bubble. Many of us have COVID children going to school. So there's a different level of patience that we have to have with these children. So
and that's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother conversation.
People understand, and Mr. Kelin, you there, and Brother Thomas, you there. Like, the COVID children are different because they missed out on so much in a year or 2 year span that they'll never get back. That missed a key part of development.
Yes, they weren't able to socialize. At all. So this really is an important event to show up to, because a brother could just be a soundboard for you. Man, listen, I don't know what to do with my third grader. Or I'm trying to figure out how to inspire and encourage my third grader. Or how do I approach the educator of my third grader? It's just so many ways that we need to know how to be involved as it relates to education. And as Brother Kelin mentioned, it's not just what we need to know, but also who we need to know and how to deal with the people that we come in contact with.
And as men, we a little bit have to get past our ego and get over ourselves of asking for help and not knowing. I have zero experience on what drop-off day is going to be like, because this is my first one. But I'm for certain I'm going to tap into Brother Thomas before next week.
I mean, you just did before we did this. You was like, hey, what am I expecting?
Yeah.
Emotionally at that. Like,
yeah.
Yeah. And I just want men to tap into me, find other men at the event to tap into, to say, hey, I'm dealing with this with my kid, or, you know, how do I help my kid get a scholarship or anything? And just start getting past the fact that we don't have to know everything. We don't have to have all the answers. And I met Brother Thomas right before the pandemic. And now here we are, both with sons, you know, just graduated high school. And, you know, I feel good that I have a village around my son that can help me even getting him through college. And so I want men to move past the pride, move past the ego, and be okay with tapping into, you know, those men around you to say, hey, I need some help, because raising kids is not easy.
No, it's not, especially
right.
girls. But look, I appreciate y'all taking some time. Once again, if people want to RSVP or if they want to find out more about this info, can you give them another way to find it?
Yes, sir. So there's we have an Eventbrite page. So when you go on the Eventbrite, you can type in Men Helping Educators. Men Helping Educators on Eventbrite. Also on both of our social medias, on IG, at Brother Thomas X. On Facebook is Thomas X Williams, as you see it now. On Twitter or X, it's Brother Thomas X. And my brother as well. So you can go to our pages and we have it on there. You can also go to my website, motivatetogrow.com. And the information will be linked on there as well. We striving to help eliminate all excuses for men not to be in attendance on August 29th from 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m.
2 hours of having a good time, 2 hours of fellowshipping, learning, and putting yourself in a great position, not just yourself, but your child. Mr. Kelin, what's your socials again?
On Instagram is Assist the Principal, and my website, KelinMark.com.
Bet. That's what it is. Again, I appreciate both of y'all for taking some time and coming on this platform and giving the people some information, especially our men out there, as our kids are back in school, as our kids are leaving for college, as a way to build and stay connected from point 1 to point 100 versus coming in at point 50 trying to figure it out and everything's in a scramble and you lost and you frustrated and you getting into it with the principal who could be your best friend. You getting into it with the teacher who really could be your best friend because they got the best interest because they see you got interest. And there's no point of being hostile when you can have these conversations early on and build these bridges. So where it's easier to walk on versus trying to walk and it's falling and you're not even nowhere late in the game. So I appreciate y'all for coming on B Swift's Guys Guide, August the 29th at the AMP. It's a must. You have to be there. I'm encouraging the uncles, the dads, the grandfathers, the educators, whoever, the big homies in the neighborhood, and you know it's a kid that understands and listens to you, and you don't want them to turn out some type of way. You got to be there because you can get some information and help that person get some information. This is B Swift's Guys Guide in partnership with my friends at Eskenazi Health. Signing out. It's your man B Swift.